Should we boomers and seniors give up cruising? You know, we've loved cruising. If you've been retired for some time, you're in your 70s and 80s, chances are you've probably taken a cruise before and loved it. I loved it. We've been a disciple of cruising. We've told many, many people they should start cruising. We've taken over 40 cruises. I'm in St. Thomas on a 10-day cruise right this very minute. And we got a Norway Fjords cruise booked for next year. But I've been seeing some things that may change how much I want to cruise in the future. There's some factors I want to talk about with you today, and I've heard other people, other boomers and seniors, talk about the same things. It may not be what you're thinking. It may be something entirely different. There's a couple of big factors that are in play that are possibly making cruises less desirable for us boomers and seniors. So stay tuned, let's talk about it. But I tell you, it's been a real challenge you have to download the app and do everything on the phone. I'm a desktop person. I like to do things on desktop, not my phone. But, you have to do all these things in advance before you go on your cruise. And I tell you, for the first time, things started falling through the cracks. I forgot to order my key fob, so I had to pick mine up at the cruise terminal. Everything is technology these days, and I think they're using technology to cut back on employees and staff and make the companies more money, but the people who are paying for it is us. We're paying as much or more. Fees are going up and service is going down. But before we get to that in detail, let's talk about, again, the logistics of traveling. It's funny how men and women are so different in packing. My wife, man, she starts 3 or 4 weeks before the cruise. She orders a color-coordinated cruise clothing and lays everything out on the spare bedroom bed. And she starts maybe 3 or 4 weeks early. I tend to start packing, even thinking about packing a day or two before the cruise. When she says, if you got anything going to the dry cleaners, you better give it to me. So I said, well, I don't really have anything going to the dry cleaners. I'm not going to take a jacket. There's no formal nights anymore. And my shirts are all washable from Costco, Kirkland, and pants, and I think I'm fine. Just as long as they're clean, I'm fine. So I open mine and just throw them in. Well, she's got all these bags and everything, get organized. She puts a lot of effort into it, and she helps me. She does help me. So this time, we actually got by with less clothing. So traveling when you're a senior, that's one thing you can do, is to have less luggage. We were going to stay at Hampton Inn North Airport in Fort Lauderdale one night before the cruise. Now, we used to not ever do that. We would fly on cruise day, and I know that's dangerous, but we've never been left behind. We almost got left behind one time, but we haven't. But as we get older, and that's a tip, start going a day early. Of course, that's no fun. That's no fun to go, what are you going to do? Check in a hotel and do what? I mean, that's no fun. But we did. But you have to roll your luggage out of the terminal, and they said, call Hampton Inn, and we did. And they said, okay, well, you go out baggage, take a left, you'll go down to gate E, go down to the sign E. And I looked down about a mile down there, it was a sign I could barely see, it said E. I said, my gosh, we're gonna have to roll these suitcases all the way down there. So we did. I'm not, I don't mean to sound like I'm complaining. I'm pretty healthy, my wife is too. But it's a good thing we didn't have that extra mid-sized suitcase. That would have been pretty bad to roll that thing down that far in that hot weather. So we avoided that this time by packing lighter. Anyway, we came a day early. It worked out. Everything worked out. By the way, the Atlanta airport, this was during the government close down. I understand now they opened the government back up. We're on this cruise. That's good. Maybe the airfares will be fine. But just coming here, people said, oh, did you hear all the news? They're canceling all these flights, And if I was you, I would drive down there. I would just drive down there. That's like a, 12 or 14 hour drive to the Fort Lauderdale airport for us. I'm like, I don't like driving like that anymore, that far. And I said, no, I'm just going to drive. We got our flights. We got the limousine service lined up to take us to the airport. We got our hotel booked before the cruise. We got all these things done. I'm just going to go to the airport. And if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. And you need travel insurance. We have travel insurance. I'm not sure what covers things these days on travel insurance. Travel insurance is getting expensive. very expensive. And I do always have travel insurance, always have travel insurance. But you know what? I've lost 2 or 3 deposits I've lost, even when I had travel insurance. I'm just saying, when you're a senior, a boomer is senior, and you start making travel plans, well in advance, 6 months to 12 months in advance, things are a pretty good chance things are going to change for you. And when they change for you, you're probably going to lose some money and have to make other plans. So that's part of this, the fun of doing this also. So anyway, we're in the zone of getting to the cruise port. All of this is just starting out, getting to the cruise port, right? And getting to the cruise ship. So everything went fine. We went right through TSA pre-check in Atlanta. There was hardly anybody there. I've never been through such a vacant line in my life. We walked right up to the baggage search, and we didn't take anything out. We just breezed right on through there in about 3 minutes. And I don't know if people were just scared to take a plane trip, and they just, I thought that may be the case. I said, I can't wait till they get to the cruise ship to see how many people show up after all this scary news. Well, everybody showed up. I mean, this ship is absolutely packed. People love cruising. And they're all our age. We were looking around the waiting room there when we were checking in, and I said, Marion said, look at everybody's our age or older. And I told her that, and she said, well, we're the only people who can afford to go on a cruise. I mean, a cruise is pretty expensive these days, with the airfares gone up, and they keep adding all these fees. You notice when you book a cruise, it's pretty difficult. You have to say, it's not just you book a cruise and show up. I mean, you got to see what kind of level, what kind of package you're going for. Now they started adding all these packages. They got something called Princess Plus, and that includes your gratuities and your drink package and a few other things. And so they make it sound like, oh, you have to do this package because this package will save you money. Yeah, right. So we got that. Well, we don't drink that much anymore. I mean, I've only had 2 glasses of wine on this cruise so far. I mean, and then you think, okay, well, that's pretty special. I'm a Princess Plus. Oh, wait a minute. Reserve. They have Reserve. Reserve, you get a special area of the dining room roped off. You'll never have to wait. Everybody's going to all these specialty restaurants, and there's hardly anybody in the dining rooms. We got the dining room, and we walk right in every time. I'm glad we didn't pay that extra. I really am. And then you find out there's another category called Premier. So you go to the Princess Theater, they got these roped off sections. Now these are for the Premier people, or Reserve or somebody. It's not for me. I'm not good enough at a Plus. They want more money. I didn't pay enough money to sit here. I got to sit some other place. And it's like, everything is fee. I think for us boomers and seniors that have traveled so much, taken, 25, 35, 45 cruises, remember how things used to be, so simple, and cruise food was so good just in the main dining room. They didn't have any specialty restaurants. This is kind of hard to take. This is really hard to take. You feel like they're charging more and you're getting less. They put everything on you. Cabin steward. We've always loved our cabin stewards. They've taken care of us, and we applaud them for being such hard workers. You don't see people working that hard like that anymore. And we applaud them. Even though we have the tip included in what we were paying, we always give them, $40 or $50 each, the cabin and the helper. This time we only got one cabin steward, and we've hardly seen him. I mean, you would not believe it. You've taken on these cruises, never had this to happen. But we're here on the cruise ship now, so let's talk about the ports. Boy, the excursions are so expensive, and they're nothing. You're gone for 2 hours. I'm not going to quote fees, but if you look at the brochures, you'll see what they cost. I mean, everything is so expensive these days. But we've been to the Caribbean. We're on a Caribbean cruise. We've probably been on like 10 at least, if not more. We've been probably 15 cruises in the Caribbean. St. Thomas, every cruise ship in the world stops at St. Thomas. We're at the shopping mall area here. They got 2 ports, and we were here on the same ship last December. So 11 months later, we're here again. Do I want to go stroll through the T-shirts and the souvenirs and the tourist traps? I don't really think so. Do I want to pay $400 or $500 to take the catamaran over to St. John's and do some scuba diving? Yes, we've done that before. Do I want to do it again? It's not just the money, but no, I'm 77. I don't I don't know what kind of swimmer I am today. I haven't done any swimming in years. I don't think I want to do that. I've been there, done that. I don't find that fascinating. Now, when we go to Norway, yes, I mean, absolutely. When we go to Norway, we'll sign up for some excursions. And of course, you can see most of it right from the cruise ship. So, but these routine port stops in the Caribbean, I'm not so sure I want to do that. Yesterday, they had it's a sea day, two special presentations in the Princess Theater. And this guy got on, he's the Princess host. He's here to help the guest. And he's going to have two lectures at the clubhouse. One is about the port. And I thought, well, should we go to that one? No, he's talking about Diamonds International, about all this cruise shopping, about how to use your cruise medallion. Now, if you sign up in advance, you can use these on these shops, these local shops outside of the cruise area. And, they're going to get part of the action no matter what you do. And of course, in recent years, what they've done is they've made these, when you get off the cruise ship, they have these fenced secured areas with all the cruise shops. And they're pretty nice, but nothing's native. Nothing is, it's all owned by the cruise ship, and it's a safe area. And, they want you to go shop and feel like you visited this native island in the Caribbean. And it's nothing. It's just a manufactured kind of Disneyland type port experience they've manufactured. I mean, the one in Dominican Republic is absolutely wonderful. There's some of them very nice, but it's not. You don't get the flavor of actually visiting and seeing the local people and the local, traditions and things like that. You don't get that at all. I mean, it's there, but it's kind of artificial, set up, all Disneyland style. So, and I heard crime is picking up in the Caribbean. We've heard that. I don't know if that's true or not. Last December, I'm on the same ship, and we went to Trinidad, and I found out if that was true. I signed up for the hike, and I did a video about the hike, and we stopped at the police station on the way there in our bus and picked up two guys from the police station that had machetes, and they were our security guards. I was like, what? And the bus driver told us, do not walk around. Stay in the safe zone around the cruise ship only. Do not take any walks out here in public. There's too many gangs. He said, I was a school teacher, and there's gangs all over the place with crime in Trinidad. I mean, I'm just repeating what he told me. That's all I'm saying. Trinidad looks like a lovely place. We had been there before. We took all the tours. I'm not picking on Trinidad. And that reminds me, another thing I wanted to talk about is in ports, foreign ports, if you get sick off the ship, can you imagine what kind of crisis that would be? Getting back to getting medical help, it may be great. I don't know. Some of these Caribbean islands, I'm not so sure I wouldn't get stuck there and seeing the ship sail away. We were on the same ship last December in Aruba, which is a very safe port. And we went walking downtown, 88 degrees. My wife got faint. We made it back to the steps of the cruise terminal, and she fainted. We just got really lucky. There was a off-duty medical person there with a backpack on, and he helped lay her down on the floor, and he called the emergency crew. They were wonderful. 10 people came with a stretcher, and they took her back and put her on fluids. She was just simply dehydrated because it's 88 degrees there. But, that was a wake-up call. It was very scary, but that was a wake-up call. Other people have got stuck in port with a medical emergency, and they would not let them back on the cruise ship. Can you imagine that? There is insurance you can get for that. We used to have kind of like MedJet, and they'll fly you back to your home country for a fee, of course, and that may be worth considering. We don't go on cruise ships to shop or buy art. I don't know that I want to do another Caribbean cruise. And I don't know that I really enjoy going overseas that much. And with all the turmoil in the world, all the conflicts, there's a lot of good cruises out there. And I don't mean, if you've never taken any cruises, please don't take this as a negative. I'm a huge fan of cruises. I'm just saying, as an experienced cruisers, I'm seeing that this high fees, low service, difficulty booking things, putting everything on our backs to do the work while they make the profits, and the difficulty of actually traveling when you're older and making plans that you can rely on, and higher insurance costs, all those things. I don't know. Let me know. I mean, should we go back to maybe destination travel, travel to a resort, I'm not tired of traveling. Travel, we still need to travel. When we're retired, I'm going to cut it off here.